Right then, here we go. A big season 2020, the second to biggest series in terms of open wheel, at least in this game. So it's going to be a tough season. This one, I really am feeling this could be the one where we come stumbling back down to reality in a way. I think we should build reliable parts at first, maybe, but front wing specialist doesn't even. What? The front wing specialist is worse than. Okay, we'll just go with it. But yeah, in reality, this is going to be a challenge this season. I can't see us winning the championship. We might be able to win a race or two, but it's gonna be unlikely. I'm sorry to say. So, let's try and go. Okay, that's good. Don't know. I guess we go full reliability, but it's obviously missing out on a bit of the performance gain as well. I guess the reliability is the one you want to go for in the early stages, just to be safe. So that's good. Brakes, we don't have any sort of. Wait, what? That takes the leadership bonus takes it way off. Okay, let's go with that. Okay, sorry, I've been rambling on in the start of this one. I've basically been building some new parts, but yeah, Stuart, obviously a great find in the last episode to be promoted from our young driver program and such a lot of skill as well. Part build is complete. Let's see how bad it is. Well, it's 100% reliability, which is good. And let's put it there. Both drivers are content. And who is going to be known as the #1 driver in the team, but in reality she's probably going to be the slower driver in the team. So reliability over performance, let's go there. Now, unfortunately, who gets jealous very easily by the look of it. Race weekend coming up, the Yokohama GP, the first race of this APS season. So let's get some more sponsorship offers in. Wow, okay. I don't think we're going to be getting third and above. Luckily, Stuart has got great sponsor. Well, she's great with sponsors basically, so it means that we do have some better sponsors here. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be aiming for third and above in these races, as much as I'd love to. So we're just going to go with the upfront payment on this one, just for now. And I think was that a bit of influence we got as well. 10th or above, then that's a bit more real, a bit more back down to reality. I think we'll go with that, 10th and above. We have got reverse grids in this one, so this is going to throw up some crazy races with no qualifying, and I don't know about setups either. So there we go. This is going to be a very interesting start to the season. I'm not sure how the reverse grid thing starts off with, but it might be just in reverse team name, and if that's the case, I'm screwed because I'm A. Oh wait, what's this? Has qualifying been brought back in? Oh, maybe the first race is qualifying? I'm not sure. I'm confused. I am confused. Right, so we've got some nice new looking parts in this one. Obviously going up to a different tier means that different style parts by the look of it, which is looking good. Not going to do anything there. Send out Stuart. And as for who, he's got better mechanic now. So that's better, obviously. So that means that we can go a little bit more. Oh no, sorry, she doesn't. Stuart has the better one. Obviously, Stuart last year was Buklova, and Buklova didn't have a great mechanic, meaning she always had bad setups, which probably did hurt her in the overall grand scheme of things. But at the same time, Buklova just didn't develop at the rate I thought. In terms of skill level, she was actually degrading over the season, which was really strange. And I guess that was the reason why I decided to pick Stuart, especially because Stuart obviously she had those improvement points, which really could make her into a really good driver. She wasn't like a great base driver, but in terms of the improvement points that I had for her, it was actually not too bad. So let's send out once again 11. Okay, that's quite a lot of our things gone, and 3. Okay, so that's all of them gone, but we're still 84% with the setup. I'm pretty happy with that. And as for Stuart, let's go with a big one once again. And well, okay, that was lucky. And send out, so 72% with Stuart. Okay, so we're not inside the top 10 right now, but there's a chance we could, with this next run, get into the top 10. We need about 0.3 of a second to get into that top 10, and that would mean that we would get our sponsor objective, which is obviously very important. I thought they said there was no qualifying, so I'm really confused. I'm confused how this works. Okay, that wasn't a particularly good lap from either driver there. Our car is inevitably pretty bad. We might actually be able to get out for another run here. I just realised the lap's not as long as I thought it was. So we should get to actually make both setups perfect. Which is perfect. What a terrible pun. Right, out you go, Who. Go and enjoy a perfect setup. And it's going to be harder, I think, to get a perfect setup here with Stuart, but we'll give it our best shot. So 86%. This should pretty much do it, shouldn't it? Yeah, it does do it. Perfect. Right. They're both going to get another lap time in here. Still need about 0.2 of a second to get ourselves into the top 10. It's weird because in pre-season testing we were great, weren't we? I'm not sure exactly where that pace has gone, even though we have got better parts as well. So Hashimoto's just set the fast lap of the race. So we're going green. Who gets into the top 10? I don't think anyone else is going to beat it. So luckily we just managed to break into the top 10 with Who and Stuart in P12. So that's good. So there we go. That's probably slightly worse than expected in my mind, but I guess we've still got the top 10, so that's the way it can go. Right, so race, here we go. How does this work then? So it starts in the right order. Maybe it goes after this race into reverse order. You guys know as well as I do. I'm going to enhance the relationship here. Let's see. So we should be able to do a super soft race, and obviously we've got fuel to account for here as well. So we might as well just maximise them both in the. Wait, what? Did it take some fuel out there? Yeah, it did. Okay. Let's go. Boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Okay, so super soft should be the way to go in this race. We just need to see who has worse tyre wear, and then we'll have to pit them in first. Hopefully one on lap. I mean, unless there's a big gap between them, I guess we could possibly pit them in on the same lap. But then there's the fuel that we need to think about as well, because that's going to cost even more time in the pits. So Stuart's had a fantastic start there, up to P7. Someone's got a drive through. It's Rachel, actually. Rachel got signed up by someone in this tier, which is good to see. P7 and P9 right now. Who is stuck behind someone on soft tyres? Ingledew has got some soft tyres on, which are degrading not that much better than ours on super softs, actually. So some people around us are pushing their super softs a lot more, except Hashimoto. Hashimoto in the Baus Baraka is doing a great job. So one of the Costa brothers has been sacked from basically the Costa team. So I'm not sure who that was, but there will be some words, I'm sure. Some more drive-throughs going on back in the back of the pack. So I'm going to conserve Who and hopefully get a couple of laps out of her. It's going to be close. We're going to pit Stuart in this lap. Just hopefully get to the end of the race. We'll see. This is going to be close. I think Who should be able to get around for another lap. Fingers crossed the tyres don't degrade too much. Stuart's out of the pit lane in P14. I guess that's alright. And Who nearly forgot to pit her. And don't need as much fuel. Just about. I'd left that a second later. I probably would have missed the pits, and that would have been game over. So out of the pits, Stuart's still ahead of Who. Both still in the top 10, however. And other drivers around us surely are going to have to pit, including Mr. Bastina, who's dropped all. Batista? I don't know. Weird name. Okay, currently P6 and P9. Pretty competitive start to this season. Who's getting overtaken for P10? Yes, it is. But I don't want to do any. I don't want to do much. Oh, she's. Damn it! I was leaving her in the conserve mode, which was silly because obviously she's got the much better tyres anyway. 21% car condition. She should be right. I mean, Stuart. Actually, no, Stuart can't really do that. The fuel is quite close on both drivers, actually. Stuart's probably just about going to make it, I think. Stuart's actually going to have to go into conserve on the last lap. I didn't realise that. This unfortunately means that she won't be able to get a podium in this race. But P4 and P7, by the looks of it, in this race, I'm going to be pretty happy with that. I'm pretty chuffed with that. That's good. That's a good start. I mean, yes, we're not as fast as Bauer Baracas. To be fair, we're not as fast as half the grid, but to be just at least in the points is really important in the early stages, especially if this reverse grid thing does happen, which I think it should do in the next race. Right, so Stewart getting some really important points. Bauer Baracas winning by a significant margin right now, but P4, P7, 18 points, happy with that. P2 in the Constructors' Championship. I suppose for a first race in the tier, you couldn't be much happier with that. That's a pretty good start. Right, simulating other seasons. Maybe see how our old season's doing, our old series, sorry. Chuck Charleston, or Chuck Carrollson, I don't know, whatever. He's won that first race. From Ellie Lightingale. Yvonne, P3, still not managing to quite do as well as you'd expect. Any people we sort of recognise that maybe they should be doing better? I don't know. What about WMC? Zoe Sharp? Interesting. Vexler went to Steinman. Lippinen still at Steinman. Wolfgang Schmidt and Freya Larson in Rossini. Interesting. Right, let's go on to our second race of the season then, lads. So, pretty good start. Happy with that. Let's see. Okay, so Stewart wants this, but it's not particularly good. Then our car's not particularly good anyway. I'm just going to give it to Who just so they stop so she stops complaining. HQ upgrade, fantastic. That's what we needed. Plus 10 to the car reliability. You read my mind. That's what we need. Can target one additional. So many HQ upgrades. Another one. Is this DJ Khaled in here? Is there another one? No. Okay, so what could we do? We could go into the supply network and do, I think, 2 at once. Is that what it said? I think that's what it was saying. So I think maybe we can do this. Yeah, we can. Still got one going. So okay. Still 13 million. I mean, what can we do in terms of buying parts? We could steal a part, but that's going to use up 69 influence, which we don't particularly want to do. Front wing mod. Let's do that. Let's use that. Who's got the better one? Or who's got the worst one? I guess we'll give it to Stewart for now. Yeah, okay. A legendary suspension mod. 1.2 million. Might as well give it a go. Just to add to my problems of audio recording, for some reason the audio stopped just at that point for this episode, so I'm going to have to record a voiceover for this second part of the episode, so I apologise for that. So basically what I'm doing here is just building a new rear wing. I realised at this point that I was struggling in comparison to the opposition, and I just needed to go and get some better parts, and our specialists are really weird. Some of them just don't really seem to help at all. I was being cautious about the money though, because I realised that we don't want to splash all our cash and then realise we need a bit of it later on in the season, or we need to get a driver out of a contract or something like that. You, especially at this level, want to keep some money in hand. So yeah, we got another part build complete here, and that is a rear wing with 100% reliability, which is fantastic. And the problem is, even though Hugh is our worst driver, they get really jealous about whenever I give Stuart a new part. So unfortunately I'm having to give Hugh new parts, even though she's the worst driver and probably isn't really making the most out of them. So that's just the annoying thing. I've got it like a bit of a contractual situation with my drivers, and that's just the way it's going, unfortunately. So yeah, that's quite frustrating in itself. And yeah, we're going to the second race of the season here in Beijing, but before we do so, we're going to sign up some new sponsors. And thanks to our Wonder, I guess it's Wonder Kid driver, we have some really good sponsors now, because they have great sponsor, sponsor, I don't know what it's called now, but they're great with sponsors, basically, meaning we get much better sponsors than we did before. So that's really, really great. So there we are, pretty good stuff. Got some good sponsors. Apparently got the best drivers on the grid now, which is pretty interesting. I just rejected a few of these staff slots in the hope of finding someone a little bit better, and we found Kubica, and Kubica was pretty good. A bit like the F1 driver Kubica, he was pretty good. We got the mechanic version of Kubica, and then we got this really rubbish Swedish person like half a star, and I was like, no thank you. And then I spent one more lot of influence points in trying to find someone else, but we got someone I think that's from Thailand who wasn't particularly good either, so I wasn't sure on who to replace, but Kubica I think ends up replacing Zabalo. We'll check right now. I think it is Zabalo. I don't change here. Let's see. Obviously making a long decision process out of this, because in my head I made quite a quick decision, but hopefully I don't replace Magath, because Magath's actually pretty good. I don't want to be doing that. And if I do that, that's embarrassing. What am I doing if I do that? Come on, Alex, make your mind up. Zabalo, pick Zabalo. Pick Zabalo. Do it. There we go. I don't know what I was talking about this time. I obviously was talking about a lot, because that took me a long time to make that decision. Then I went and used my influence points up on trying to find someone else, but he was pretty good, this Valentino guy, or Vinantino guy, Vitatino. He's got a long name. He was good, but at the same time he wasn't really much better than the people I already had, so I thought, I'm not going to bother doing that. So we finally jump into this race after obviously rambling on quite a lot, because we get into this race finally, and it is Shanghai, and it's raining. It was Beijing, sorry, it's Beijing. So it's raining. That's interesting to see. It's sort of a bit of a leveler. You guys know that if you watch Formula 1, the rain is always a bit of a leveler. Brings the driver's talent out a little bit more, and I feel like I have some pretty talented drivers in a pretty rubbishy car, so I thought that's going to be pretty good for me. So picking the setups once again, that was quite lucky there. I could have gone bankrupt with my points, and I decided to not push it any further and get a 37% setup. Then with Stewart, I decided to go the less risky route and not go to 3 to 20, because that could have bankrupted me straight away on my mechanics points. But pretty good here, and getting quite a few low percentages, but 20% overall is better than going bankrupt, that's for sure. Then sending out on the intermediate tyres here to try and get a decent enough lap time in, but I saw at this point that the track's going to go dry in the next couple of minutes, so I don't want to be doing anything too crazy. I don't want to be just throwing it all out there as this is the only lap I'm going to get in quali, because I saw in a second it's going to be dry, so these lap times are all going to be pretty much invalidated. They're not going to be needed. So we got some okay lap times in there, but yeah, you can see quite far off the Baus Barakas, Hashimoto, and yeah, well, Hashimoto was the one really. And as we come in to switch it over a new setup, we're going to be putting on some dry tyres as well. I'm risking it with the setup here. Don't do anything too silly, Alex. There we go. I got it right on the money there. That's going to go to 78%. And did I change the tyres? Was I stupid enough to not change the tyres there? I'd go and bankrupt myself there with Stewart straight away. That was stupid, wasn't it? And I'm going to send out. I sent them both out on intermediates. Wow, I am silly. I am silly. So I decided to put them in straight away and put on some dry tyres, because obviously I made the mistake of not realising that I hadn't changed the tyres and had to come in straight away and put dry tyres on. So that was a silly mistake on my part, but there we go. It's one of those things, unfortunately. I was going a bit too quick, like trigger happy I suppose you'd say, through the game. Sometimes you go dip 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 a bit too quickly and you press the wrong button, and that was the case this time. So sending them out on track, really struggling. Currently the last two drivers on the grid, so to try and get our objective of 10th here, it was going to be very unlikely, but green first sector there from both drivers, green second sector from both drivers once again. Hugh goes P6, Stewart goes P11. I'd say that's a pretty successful qualifying, considering our setups weren't particularly fantastic, and we do start to drop some positions at the end here. Hugh P9, P10, do we stay? I think we just about stay in the top 10, which is good. That gives us a decent chance of points, but more importantly our sponsor objective. So there we go, saving the game and moving on to the race. So still a second off pole position, but a dry race. Might sort of go back to genuine speed here. If we'd played our cards right in qualifying, maybe got another setup run, we probably could have been both in the top 10 quite comfortably, but I messed it up, and that was just the way it goes. So I decided to switch up the strategy a little bit here, go medium tyres with Hugh, and with Stuart I was thinking, what do I do here? I'm going to leave the fuel in and just start on the soft tyres and enhance the relationship. Do I? No, I go the tyre route here and start on the medium tyres with Stuart as well. So there we go to the race here. 19 laps. It's quite a short lap if I remember correctly, so it's quite a quick race as the lights go out and away we go here in Beijing. So immediately not the greatest start in the world for both drivers. They sort of stick around where they started. Stuart, however, probably gained more positions on the start, or gained more time maybe than Hugh, who's sort of bobbling around all over the place and didn't have the greatest start in the world. P11, P12, they're all jumping about all over the place, but you can see that they're holding basically position in the mid pack and already lost 10 seconds to the leader here, which is quite embarrassing this early on into the race. So I need to up my game really as we go. 16 laps to go, fourth lap of this race. We're still not really making much progress, unfortunately. And looking at Costa in the lead this race, he's got a 3-second lead over second place. He's really doing well, and I was thinking, even though we're on a slower compounded tyre here, we're really struggling. We're only ahead of one driver on the soft tyres. Yes, we're ahead of all of the rest of the medium runners, but the rest of the medium runners are really the slower drivers. So it's the Bauer Spirakas, the people you want to look out for. I think the yellow cars are MRT Valbuenas, I remember correctly. They're pretty quick. Whatever team Quan races for is pretty quick as well. But yeah, Bauer Spirakas is definitely the one you want to look out for in this tier. They're just phenomenal. So gained a few positions after people started to pit, and you can see the soft tyres sort of hung on a little bit further than I expected. I thought they'd had to pit like lap 6, but they're pitting lap 8, lap 9 on these soft tyres, so that was a bit surprising for me. And as you can see here, I was having to pit one of the drivers on this lap because I was trying to just figure it out right now. That's why I paused it, because like both my drivers are on the same percentage basically of tyre wear, so I'm going to have to pit one of them this lap, even though it's not really what I want to do. I was going to try and eke out another lap time really, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. So I pitted Stuart, then go on the attack with our second driver Hugh, who dropped actually behind Stuart even though they started ahead. So and then I decided to obviously do my pit strategy for Hugh, and I decided I might as well risk it. Put some extra fuel in on Hugh, put the soft tyres on, just go for it. No one else is on soft tyres right now. I think a couple of people might come in and put soft tyres on, but I was like, you might as well just risk it at this point. You're not going to win the race by going on putting on medium tyres. So even points, probably wouldn't even get points if I didn't put the soft tyres on. So I thought I might as well risk it. And I don't even know what happens in this race. I've already gone and recorded like 3 or 4 episodes after this, so I actually can't even remember what happens in this race, to be perfectly honest. I'm just basically commentating as it goes, nearly like real life. Maybe trying to add in a couple of extra little jokes here and there. So Stuart up to P6, Hugh is up to P10. Pretty good start to the second stint here for both drivers. Trying to keep an eye on the car condition. Stuart, yeah, struggling at 40%, and Hugh's on 61%, so we might be able to do a bit of pushing with Hugh, but unfortunately the soft tyres aren't going to really lend themselves to us pushing too much, because you can see they've already degraded with 5 laps to go to the same amount as the medium tyres, and obviously the medium tyres are going to continue to degrade less. So the next couple of laps is going to be super important in making these the soft tyres last the end of this race. 4 laps remaining. Yes, they're counting down quite quickly here. 3 laps remaining, as you can see. But I wasn't sure whether I was going to make it to the end of this race. So this was going to be a tough end to this one. So Hugh versus Stuart here. It's a battle out on track between our 2 drivers. Obviously on slightly different strategies here. 2 laps to go. You can see I'm having to go into neutral. Into conserve with Hugh now, because I'm not going to make the end of this race otherwise, and I'm probably not going to be losing any positions. And Stuart puts herself into P3 on the last lap of this race. Can Hugh go and get another position here? Let's see. Hashimoto could be one for the taking as well. For Stuart, yes, Stuart's done it, and Hugh dropped down to P5 at the end there. Got into a podium position briefly, but couldn't hold it. So Stuart finished P2, Hugh finished P5. Quan with a pretty fantastic race there, finishing half a minute ahead of everyone. That's quite surprising stuff there. And after the second race of the season, you can see there a good points haul for us there, especially with only one of the Bauer Spirakas car finishing after, I think it was Costa making a mistake, and Hashimoto was the only one to score points there. So he scored a nice, delightful 28 points in this race. I think the most points of any team in that race. And you can see now in a much stronger position, only 12 points behind Bauer Baraka. So there we are. That was it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy it. I'm looking forward to continue the battle with Bauer Baraka over the next couple of races and maybe equip Michel or Malesi. I don't know. Looking to continue the battle with them over the next couple of races. So thanks for watching. Sorry about having to do this voiceover. I can't believe how many voiceover problems I've had with this series so far. It just doesn't end. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys around soon. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's been Axmadia. Goodbye.